Hi everyone! Welcome to Rancho Los Cerritos' creation station for the month of May. Our theme this month is May flowers. Now, even though we didn't get too many April showers this year here in Long Beach where Rancho Los Cerritos is located, there are still plenty of flowers blooming around the Rancho Los Cerritos grounds. There's flowers in pretty much every place, out in our native garden, in the courtyard, in our orchard, in the backyard. Everywhere you turn, there are flowers blooming. And that is the inspiration for our crafts for today. So we're making flowers out of two kinds of materials. So first, out of paper, and second, out of coffee filters, which will make something like this. And it's hard to tell in this space, but this is kind of like stained glass. So if you put this up in a window, the light comes through beautifully. So you'll make flowers that can be decorations in your home, even on your own person, and bring lots of color to the month of May. Materials that you'll need for these crafts are coffee filters. You need as many filters as you want to make flowers, tape, scissors, a glue stick, a pencil and eraser. It's not necessary, but if you want to draw out the shapes before you cut them, very useful. Some straws, different colored markers, and different colored construction paper. So first we are going to make coffee filter flowers. And like I said, this ends up creating sort of a stained glass effect. So coffee filters are made out of a material that kind of absorbs water really well. So what we're going to do is use the markers to put some color onto this coffee filter and then add drops of water, and the water is going to seep into the coffee filter and kind of create this cool marbling effect. And you can see from this one, they kind of bleed into each other. If you do add a lot of water, you lose a little more of the color. And I do have an example of that with this other one that I made. So this side got a little less water, so you can still see a lot more of the color. This side, it's very pale or pastel. It's really that the dark or bright colors have bled out a lot. And if you want to make a pastel flower, you just need to add a little more water. So either way will create this colorful piece of coffee filter that you can turn into a flower for your window. And you'll see in a moment, whatever color you add, if you're drawing a shape, it's not really going to hold that shape. So this is really a time to be kind of abstract with it. Just make some different squiggles in different colors. It can look really cool if you do really different colors next to each other, or if you do a lot of different shades of blue or red or just one color, it can also create a really cool effect. So feel free to make a lot of different flowers. Try it out. It's a pretty quick and straightforward process. You can make a lot of these with one go. So I have my first coffee filter here. And so I'm gonna kind of flatten it, and it goes into the coffee maker like this. So it's kind of going up. I'm just gonna flip it over so it's a little easier to flatten it. And like I said, I'm just gonna make like squiggles. It's just kind of like scribbling in different colors. And it's okay to have some white space. Like I said, the colors are going to kind of bleed and move through. one thing that I forgot to say when I was giving you the materials you needed, you want to use washable markers or anything that's not permanent. Permanent markers do not really bleed with water because they were made to be permanent. So that's kind of what they were designed for. So anything that's non-permanent, or like these are the Crayola washable ones, those are gonna move around with the water and create the look that we're going for. So here I have my nice scribbled coffee filter. I'm gonna make another one where the colors are more segmented, where it's like one color's in one space, and then we can see how that looks. So I did like red in this area, do blue, purple, do some orange. It might also look cool if you kind of recreate the color wheel and you have those opposite colors across from each other. There's lots of ways that you can do this. And so no two flowers are gonna look exactly alike, which I think is really unique and fun about this project. All right, so I have one that's just a lot of squiggles, one that's kind of pieces of a pie or a pizza almost. And I'm gonna do one that's maybe do these kind of blues and purples all over and see how that looks. So again, if you're drawing like circles or squares, you might lose the definition of that shape as you add the water. So that's why I like to just really go squiggly with it and then see where that takes me as the water soaks up into the coffee filter. All right, so I have three kind of different styles of color, and now I'm gonna add some water to this. So you are going to be using water. It's not a ton of water, but you do want to do this in a space where it's okay for water to maybe spill out a little bit, which might be on a kitchen counter or in a bathroom, or just on a table that has a space that's easy to clean, because that water will get a little bit of the marker color in it. So you want a space that's going to be easy for you to clean up and kind of contain that water. All right, so here I have my 3 coffee filters. I've got a Tupperware with some water and some paper towels to clean up afterwards. So I'm just gonna put my fingers into the water, so they've got a little bit of water on them, and then just kind of flick them onto the paper. It's easier to start with a little bit of water and add more. Once you put a lot of water on, you can't take it away. So I'm just gonna start with this kind of swirly one. And so you can see now some of those darker colors especially are starting to bleed. Get them on the edges too. All right, I'm pretty happy with that one. And I'm just gonna repeat that process with all of the coffee filters. So there we have 3 different types of flower, one that's blended all together, one where they're all kind of in a row, and then one where it's different shades of blues and purples that all blended together. And so you can just leave these to dry. If you can put them outside, they'll dry a little faster. Just make sure you weigh them down. And then once they're dry, you can cut them into the shape of flowers. Once all of your coffee filters are dry, then you can cut them into the shape of flowers. And for this, you might need to use a marker to trace the shape if you want to draw it first. Pencil can be hard to see depending how dark your colors are. And you can make it really be basically the whole shape of the coffee filter, or you can make smaller ones. And then depending if there's like, if I really like this kind of section where it's a little darker and I want to make sure that ends up in the flower, I can draw that flower shape kind of based around that section I really want to include. So if you have something you want to trace, you can do that. I'm just going to kind of wing this one. So I traced a flower shape in there and I'm going to cut that out. If you want your flower to be kind of symmetrical, you can also fold it in half, and then you just draw half of the flower and you cut it out, and then you can open it up. All right, so here is my flower shape. And now this is ready to go be put in a window. So you can use on the tape and you can put it in a window where sunlight comes through, and it'll create this beautiful stained glass looking flower to really brighten up a window space. And if you make tons, then you can cover a whole window. You can add them in every window in your home. And it's a really nice way to add a little bit of color to your window space. The second type of flower that we are going to create is paper flowers. So these are some that are on little stems made from straws, and these happen to be paper straws. You can use any kind of straw. So we have a couple of these, and then we'll also see another way you can use paper flowers. So this, if you look at these, they're just different flower shapes in different sizes and different colors, and they're glued together in patterns that are a little bit different, and then taped onto the straw with a leaf. So pretty straightforward as well, but again, you can make so many different color combinations, different shapes to look like, or to represent all of the different kinds of flowers that are at Rancho Los Cerritos, or maybe at your house or in your neighborhood. So we're gonna create some of these. So the main thing for these flowers is construction paper. And then you'll also need scissors, pencil and eraser, and then glue, tape, and then the straws if you want to put them on those straw stems. I have another flower here where each of those pieces is still made up of 3 different size flower shapes, but they're all the same color. And so that creates a different effect. It makes it a little more about the texture and the shape rather than the different colors. So there's lots of options with these paper flowers. And so the main part of this craft is cutting out different flower shapes in different sizes and different colors. And I'm going to save the green for leaves. So I'm not going to use that for the flower shapes, but you are welcome to if you'd like to. And so in these examples that I showed you, I have 4 different sizes and shapes. So the big, medium, and small are all kind of a rounded 5 petal flower. And then I have this one that's kind of like longer, skinnier ones, more like a daisy or something like that. So you can really do anything you want with this, any kinds of shapes. There are some flowers here at the Rancho that have those rounded petals, some have longer, thinner petals, and then in the centers of the flowers, there's all kinds of different things going on as well. So some just have, like, when I think of a flower, I think of that kind of yellow circle right in the middle. And so we have some that look like fried eggs, where it's got that yellow circle in the center. There's also some, like our lilies in our pond, that have this kind of spindly thing coming up. And then we have calla lilies that really just have that one yellow kind of rod in the center, and then everything in between. So you can do all kinds of things with your flowers. So I think I'm going to We'll do, what do I not have? I'll do another red one. And if you want to trace something, or if you find like a template that you want to use, you are more than welcome to do that. I'm just gonna draw out some shapes. I'm gonna do it in pencil first. I'll do it in pencil just so I can erase it if I need to, and then I'll trace it over so you can see. So those were kind of those rounded flowers. I think I'm gonna try doing maybe some of these like spikier ones. All right, so here I have 3 different sizes and shapes. So I've got one big one. These 2 are kind of the same size, but they are different shapes. And so now I'm going to cut these out, and you can do lots of different colors, as you've got a lot of options, again, depending how many flowers you want to make and how many different layers you want to add to each flower. Just keep on creating these flower shapes. You can mix and match different shapes, or you could do the same shapes in multiple sizes. There's really so many options and so many different flowers that you can use as inspiration. So I'm going to cut these out now and then show you how you can put them together. All right, so I have these shapes that I just drew in these different sizes and some other flowers that I had. And so to kind of put them together, all I did was choose different sizes. I put the biggest on the bottom and then tried out different combinations. So then just kind of getting smaller and smaller and using some different shapes. Here's red, white, and blue. So here there's 3 different shapes, 3 different colors, 3 different sizes. And then use the glue stick to glue them together. And what I did when I was putting these together was I only put glue in the center of the flower shape, and then I was able to kind of curl these pieces up to give it a little more dimension and a little more kind of pop. So I've got my glue stick. I'm going to put glue just in the center of this blue one and glue that on to the white. And then the same thing, just put glue in the center of the white one and then glue that onto the red. And so now if I want to, I can kind of curl these up. And they'll look a little more like real flowers as well, because most flowers in nature are not flat. So there we have it. It's not super pointed. It's not like they're coming right out at you, but it does give it a little bit more of that real true flower shape. And then you just keep doing this, and for this one I want to add a yellow center. So in the examples I showed earlier, these all just had kind of the other colors. There weren't any sort of typical flower center colors, but I am going to add some yellow. And if you have paper punches like this, I've got a circle and even a star, whatever shapes you have. If you happen to have any of these on hand, these are really useful. Or you can just cut things out. So that just made a little circle. I'm gonna glue that one in the center. So I've got one flower here. Then I'll make maybe and again, you can do multiple blues. I've got a few different ones here. So this looks almost like, what's a flower that looks like this? Like a hydrangea, or there's other flowers that have lots of little petals, and so this will give just a different look than if you're mixing up lots of different colors. And in nature, and even here at Rancho Los Cerritos, you'll see both kinds of flowers. Some where all of the petals look the same, and lots of flowers where there's many different colors that show up just in the one flower. So here we have one. I don't know if it's going to come across through the screen, but it does give it this really cool texture. And if I kind of curl these up, that might help a little bit. So to curl them, I'm just pinching them a little bit. It's not really folding it. It's just going about maybe like halfway to a fold. So they're, and with these really big ones, you can even kind of roll it. Let's see how that looks. So there you have one that's got all the same color petals in different shapes and sizes. So once you have a lot of flowers like this, then you can use your tape to attach them onto a stem. Or you can create a flower crown, and for a flower crown, you will just use more paper to create a band that'll go around your head or whoever head you want to make it for. So one piece of paper is not enough to go around my head, but I can cut this into strips, and I believe 2 strips will be enough. Tape this down, just see. I know this is going to be a little tight, so I'm not going to overlap these too much, but there I've got, these are connected, and now I can do it right here. So here I've got this lovely base for my flower crown, and I can start gluing or even taping some of these flowers onto my band, and then that will create a lovely flower crown. But even here, just with one flower, ta-da! So whether you are making a flower crown or maybe some straw stemmed flowers, you've got these great paper flowers that you can make. And I hope that you will post what you make. I would love to see all of your flower creations. You can tag Rancho Los Cerritos' account if you post on social media, and I'll add that information below, and use the hashtag RLC Creation Station. I'd love to see those. And I hope to see you back again virtually next month in June for June's Creation Station on the first Saturday of the month. And the theme for that one will be Rainbow Surprise. So another really colorful theme for the crafts of June. And I hope to see you there, and maybe see you here at Rancho Los Cerritos to see some of these Mayflowers that are blooming. Until next time, bye.